Good afternoon to all. Myself Shasana, and today we are going to learn about the data handling. Now firstly let's start with the meaning of this word data handling. So what do you mean by the data? So you can think of the data as some information in the terms of numbers. For example, the height, the weight and the score and everything around us. Not everything, the information around us is the data. Now there is a little difference between the data and the information. These both are not same. Yes, for example, let's say that some little child asks you that how hot is the sun or what is the temperature of the sun. So basically the temperature of the sun is 5500 degrees Celsius. Now if you will tell this number is firstly a data. So if you will just tell that data to that child, now tell me that is that child is going to understand that thing? Does the child will understand? Of course not. So he is very little and he doesn't know about the Celsius and Fahrenheit. So if you are just throwing data to him, or if you are just telling only the data, he is not going to understand better. So you have to give the information. Now how can you explain him that 5500 degrees Celsius is how much hot? You can say very hot, very hot. Like that you can give the information. So when we tell someone, when we are giving something, when we are giving a knowledge to someone, we have to give the data along with the information. If we will not give the information, there will be a little hard to understand that data. So now I think that it is clear the difference between the data and the information, and when we are giving knowledge to someone, we have to give the data along with the information. Now what is data handling? Now data handling is just arranging the data in a correct order. That means, what do I mean by handling? To handle something, to organize something. So organizing data is what the data handling is. Now very simple. Now we can organize data in many ways. Just a countless number of ways are there to organize the data. So if you have some height, of some children, and if you want to organize the data, that is a data, so how you will organize that? You can organize that height in the ascending order, or you can arrange it in the descending order. Now if there is just a data and it is not organized, it is not processed, so that data is known as raw data. Now this data, as we can see, is raw data, which is not organized, which is not processed. It is just there. Now when we organize the data, we can organize it in the many ways. For example, as I already give you an example of the height. So if there are some height of some children, and if you want to organize that, what you will do? You can arrange it in the ascending order, or if you can arrange it in the descending order, so you can also do that. So like this we can organize the data. Now let's understand some of the ways. For example, the pictographs, and then the bar graphs, and so many more. So now let's start with the pictographs. What are the pictographs? We all know that we understand the diagrams, the pictures better than the number, right? So we can also organize the data, or we can also show the data with the help of the pictures. Now let's see the pictograph, an example of a pictograph. So let's say that we are telling the age of some students in a class, or let's say in whole 6th class, or in whole any class you can take. So now let's organize the data here. So now I am going to use a circle here for telling the number of students. So one circle is going to be or is equal to one student here. So let's say, here let me draw this table. Now here is the number of students and here is the age. Now let's say some of them are 10 years old, 11 years old and 12 years old. Years. Now let's show this. So basically the thing is that the number of students which are 10 years old is, let's say 6 students are 10 years old, and let's say 8 students are 11 years old, and let's say 5 students are 12 years old. Now how you will represent that? Very simply, you will draw 6 circles here. Here 8 circles and here 5 circles. So if someone wants to see this data, or if someone wants to analyze this data, how he is going to analyze this data? Very simply. So he can just count these up like 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, and there are 6 students which are 10-year-old, and then we can say that 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8 students are 11-year-old, and 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 students are 12 years old. Now like this you can just show the data with the help of the pictograph, and there should be a scale like this. Now let's change our scale. Let's say that this one circle represents 4 students. Now why do we change the scale? Why can't we keep the scale as one diagram for one particular thing? That's because when it comes to the number which are large, when it comes to the larger numbers, what will happen? You have to draw so many pictures, and that is quite hard. Yes. So if there is a number, let's say 20, so how you will able to draw this 20 circles? It is quite hard. Yes. So for that, in that case, what do we do is that we change the scale and we make something like this. One circle is equal to 4 students, or one circle is equal to, let's say, 5 students, and then like that we can also change the scale. Now let's represent it again. As the scale has changed, we have to change the number of diagrams. Now let's represent that. So here, firstly let's solve this one. So 4, if one circle is 4, one circle is representing 4 students. So how many circles will represent 8 students? Of course 2. 4 plus 4 is 8. Now as you can see here, the number is 6, and as we all know that the 6 is not a multiple of 4. So how you are going to represent that? In a simple way, let's see that. So if we will draw a circle, so this represents 4 students. Now we have to draw 2 more students. How you will do that? So one circle one circle represents 4 students. So, quarter of the circle, if we will just divide this circle into 4 parts and this part only. So this part, the quarter of the circle is going to represent 1 student. Like that, the half of the circle is going to represent 2 students, and simply like that, as you can see, the 3/4 of the circle is going to represent 3 students. So like that, we can divide a circle like this, simply. Now, as we can see, we have to just draw 2 students, so we are going to use half of the circle like this. Now, if it comes to this 12 years, so there are 5 students. So for that, let's use one circle which represents the 4, and now we have to draw only one student. We have to represent only 1 student. So how you will do this? Very simply, as we have seen here, that a quarter of the circle is going to represent 1 student. So we will use the quarter of the circle. Now, as you can see, now it is just represented simply. Now let's see one more example. So here we are now going to change the number of students. Let's say that let's take some larger number and let's see how can we represent that. So let's say here is 20 students, here is 15 students, and here is, let's say, 10 students. Now let's represent the data here. Let's represent the number of students. So how you will do this? First, let's look at the scale. The scale says that one circle is equal to 4 students. Now let's draw that. So is 20 a multiple of 4? Yes, it is. 4 into 5 is 20. That means we have to draw the 5 circles. That simply means one circle means 4, another circle 8. So 2 circle is going to be 8. Another circle is going to be 12. 3 circles basically 12, and 4 circle is going to be 16. And now we need one more. So let's reduce the size of the circle so that we can draw more circles here. Now we are done. 4 plus 4 plus 4 plus 4 plus 4 is equal to 20. Then we have another number which is 15. Now is 15 a multiple of 4? Of course not. So now let's see how to do this. So if we will have 2 circles, so these both of them, what they will represent? 8. Now can we move on? Yes, we can. So we will add one more circle here. So what is it? How many students are represented? 12 students. 4 into 3 is 12. So 12 students are represented. And now we need only to represent, now there is a need to represent 3 students. So how you will represent that? We have seen that 3/4 of a circle is going to represent the 3 students. Simple. Now like this, let's move on to the 10. Now it is very simple. 2 circles and a half of a circle. Now why is that? That's because 2 circles, that is 4 plus 4 is 8 plus 2. We have to represent 2 students. For that we will use the half of the circle. As the quarter of the circle represents only the 1 student, so 2 quarter is going to represent 2 students. That means a half. Now I think that this is clear to you all. So I think that pictographs is clear to you all, And in my next video, we are going to talk about bar graphs. So for now, let's end our video over here. Thank you for watching this video and have a cheerful day ahead. If you want any improvement in me, so you can comment it in the comment box. Thank you.